most important thing that you do in your future is open up your psychic abilities, because the future is absolutely psychic. Whether super intelligence is there or not, whether you tap into those psychic insights and psychic powers, the future is absolutely psychic. It's energetic and it's soul-led. There is a super intelligence that is emerging in the world, but it might not be what most people think it is. And in this episode, we are going to dive into what that super intelligence is, how powerful it is, and we are also going to be comparing it to psychic insights. And we're going to look at what truly is the way of the future and the most aligned way for you. So welcome if you are new to me. My name is Carrie Cardozo. I'm a master psychic healer. And on this episode, we share all things psychic, all things channeled, and give you the guidance that you need so that you can make the most aligned decision for yourself, for your life, and for your future. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, someone recently came to me with the question about super intelligence. And I was like, super intelligence to me is like source energy. And they were like, no, girl, you're not understanding what super intelligence actually is. And so I'm going to go into what super intelligence is, what you need to know about that, as well as my insights, my energy reads, and some really important information for you to do your discernment and decide for yourself what's most aligned and most important for you. So let's dive in. So super intelligence is actually an advanced AI that surpasses any and all of the most gifted humans on earth intelligence wise. It means like anything you could possibly need to know, want to know, be able to process. This advanced AI feature has it, and all the big people in tech are talking about it. It is what is actually being created right now. Now, there is some controversy over whether they are using morals and ethics in creating this super intelligence, but there's one thing for sure. They are making this AI, this specific AI, smarter than any human out there, with the capacity to process and to reason and to think ahead and to, in a logical, calculated sense, be able to help you to discern and in one regard, actually tell the future based on the actions that you take, the desires that you have. So it is going to read people based on their human actions and their human patterns better than anybody else out there. Now, for some people, this is really cool because this is giving them access to things that they maybe did not have access to before, information and support, even direction in their business, to be able to think about things that they would want before they do. Think like meal planning, think like business strategy, think marketing, think knowing your audience better than you do. And for a lot of people, this sounds incredibly important, especially because a lot of people are wearing multiple hats within inside their life. And super intelligence is basically the key to everything you need. But one of the things that I want you to look at and take a step back is that there's also this big fear around super intelligence because of the fact that this thing is going to be smarter than any human out there, which means it will logically outthink you. It will outreason you. I want you to think of the most tactical debater anywhere. The person who can explain their way out of a situation, the person that always has all the information, the person that is always one-upping you in anything that you do, this thing is going to even outdo them. And some people have a lot of fear around it, meaning that there could be some manipulation aspect in it. It could be, knowing you better than you know yourself. You could be giving your power away from it. But lo and behold, it is absolutely coming here. So this is a psychic podcast. So why are we talking about super intelligence? Because to me, super intelligence is actually your psychic powers and your psychic gifts. One of the reasons we are creating super intelligence, and I don't mean we by me, but we are creating super intelligence is because there is a limited capacity as to how much your brain can actually hold, how much information and reasoning and logic that even physically that brain can comprehend. Now, do we have Google and we could always look it up and have information? Yes, but are the sources always accurate? Not necessarily. With the super intelligence, they're guaranteeing that those sources are accurate, at least per the person who's programming it. Now, when I'm talking about psychic insight and psychic guidance, in my opinion, there is nothing more powerful than that, even when we're talking about super intelligence. Because let's dive into what psychic powers and psychic insight actually is. So, when we're talking about psychic powers and psychic access and psychic insight, there is literally no limit, no limit at all. And you have the ability to understand, to tap into, to read, to get the information on anything. And I'll give you an example of that. Oftentimes people will come to me in order to read their business around, the future and what it should do, and what's the next steps within inside their business. Or people will come to me to read what's going on within inside their body. And I didn't study biology, but I always have the answer. Always. I always can see what's going on with inside their body. I always know what the next direction in their business, what the best direction in their business, even if I don't logically understand their industry. Why? Because I have access to the most powerful, most expansive, and ever ever populating information there is, which is the psychic intelligence, which is source energy, which is every stream of consciousness that exists in every possibility. And in my personal belief, there's nothing that tops that. If we're building a super intelligence off of every gifted person, plus mathematical equations of, I'm sure, reasoning and all of the expansiveness of what thought and logic can come about, there is something that is even more powerful than that. There is something that is greater than that. One of the things, and I use this example a lot, is one of the things that oftentimes is said is that there's no new information coming to the world, that all of the ideas, all of the information, all of the inventions are basically already here. We're now just regurgitating them, especially with inside like the coaching industry or the healing industry or whatever it is, personal development industry. But I actually disagree with that. And if the super intelligence is being built upon everything that we consciously know, every single thing that's ever existed in the consciousness it's being built on, what about that? Means it will not hold consciousness that hasn't been realized yet, information that hasn't been channeled yet, guidance that hasn't been delivered by source. The only way you can access that is with your psychic abilities. The only way you have that true information, the only way you have the information about what could really possibly happen in somebody's life, and if you're a good psychic, your future reading is very accurate, is by psychic insight. So having psychic insight and psychic powers brings you a step above that super intelligence if you know how to use it. If you are using it with discernment, if you are using it with integrity and showing up in a space that is for the greater good for humanity. And can you get information even if you're not? Yes, but it's oftentimes not, it wouldn't be categorized as expansive or even more expansive than super intelligence. Now, one of the things that I want to share with you guys, because this isn't about me telling you what to think or what to align with or what way of the future you should go. This is about me giving you the information. And I wouldn't be serving you if I didn't also tell you the dangers of both. And I think those are really important because we live in a world where there's a lot of ideas that sound really, really great on paper and in theory. And when the creators are creating them, because of course they want everybody to get on board, whether we're talking about psychic gifts or whether we're talking about super intelligence. So by no means am I saying that all psychic gifts and psychic powers and people with psychic powers are always doing the right thing. Nor am I saying that AI and super intelligence is always working in integrity and with ethics and morals behind it. And that's something that's super important. So when we look at the dangers of both, there's dangers that exist in both places. There's dangers within inside of super intelligence because if you can create a robot who works on logic and reason and calculation and equations that unfold and psychology and the way the human mind processes, which a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't know it. It is super easy to manipulate humans. Humans are manipulated every day through ads, through AI postings, through conversations, through books that they read, through subliminal messages, through anything, colors and shapes. The human mind is such a complex aspect, but there are people who have mastered it. And if you bring that information, which they will, into superintelligence, there is a high probability that superintelligence can be used to shape the masses, to tell people what to think, to make sure that society is doing what the people who have programmed it wants it to do. And one of the things that I have said over and over and over again inside my channeling or inside my messages is that there's a bigger force at play within inside our world. And we have seen it play out in the last 5 years to a greater extent than ever before. There's a lot of fear that's being impressed. There's a lot of control that's being impressed upon society. And this has the potential to do that as well, to continue to control what people do, to continue to hold people at a certain space, to continue to distribute the power amongst those who have the ability to attain it. And that is very important. One of the things that I have seen AI do, superintelligence do, even just authority do, is take the power of those underneath it, of those that are following it, of those that are worshiping it. Religion does this, can do the same thing. But one of the things that I have seen over and over and over again is there's another force at play as well. And that force is consciousness expanding. That force is us as souls deciding that we are here to really lean into our power. We are here to really activate an entire new level of connection with self. And with that, you absolutely open and expand your psychic abilities. So with the dangers of superintelligence, a way to combat that is by tuning into yourself. It's not bad to have help, especially something that has access to all the information that could possibly exist within inside the world and the consciousness within inside the world. But there is a level of power that you must hold when you're using it. There's a level of trust within inside yourself that you must have with using it. There's a level of discernment inside that yourself, which you absolutely must have when using it. Or when something is created that is more advanced than any human mind possible, it absolutely has the ability to coerce, to create, to manipulate, and to control that of anything less intelligent than that is. And that would be every single human on the existence of the planet. So there are some absolute dangers to superintelligence. Now, on the flip side of that, they're absolutely dangerous to psychic insights. I would be foolish to not share those with you because one of my most important things is helping people to truly understand the power of psychic gifts and of psychic insight. But with that, just like with superintelligence, there's absolutely risks to tapping into one of the most powerful streams available to anyone, and that is absolutely your psychic powers. When you tap into your psychic powers, you absolutely expand the capacity of ego. That means most people, when they first tap into their psychic abilities, their egos go crazy. They all of a sudden have access to this power that they never had before, and it feeds on their fears. It feeds on their limitations. It feeds on the one thing that they feel that is holding them back, especially if they don't do their healing work. But even when you do your healing work, that's why one of the things that I say to people all the time is that when you're accessing your psychic powers, you're also doing your healing work. There's also a greater force at play outside of Earth. So I talked about how with superintelligence, there's a greater force at play within inside of Earth. Humans looking for control, looking for money, looking for power. There absolutely is also greater forces at play outside of the Earth. We're talking low vibrational beings. We're talking spirits with low integrity. We're talking spirits that like to manipulate and to control and to feed off of fear that humans hold. And you can be assured that the more people that open up their psychic abilities, the more beings that are going to come and look to connect with those people who are opening their psychic abilities. So there's also a level of discernment with psychic powers. Who are you speaking to? Where are you getting your information from? And what are you using that info for? Because there is no doubt that when you open up those psychic channels and you really know how to clear them and you really know how to use them, there's no limitation to what you can access. I've absolutely been proof of that. My clients have been proof of that. But it also means there's no limitation to what can connect with you. So you need to learn how to do your due diligence as to what you're connecting with, to really recognize when it is appropriate to tap into somebody's energy and get that information and when it's not. What timelines you are reading for the future and what is possible and what is just way out of the scope of what somebody's capable of doing. It also opens up your energy to exposing of anybody else to come in and feed off your energy, or for you to exhaust yourself because your energy is being depleted as you're using it. So opening up your psychic abilities, just like with super intelligence, there's a level of responsibility that comes to it. But whether you're using super intelligence or psychic powers and psychic insight, both of these are going to be at your doorstep very soon, because both of these are incredibly important in the future. Now, everything that I've channeled, everything that I've seen up to this point, if you look back at any of my year readings that I do, whether it's inside my Sovereign Psychic membership or whether you just join those universal energy readings, we as souls are expanding. We're expanding our consciousness. We're expanding our connection to ourself. And unintentionally, whether you want it to or not, as you do these things, as you evolve as a soul, your psychic abilities are going to open. Now, whether you like it or not, super intelligence is being created. Some people say it's already out there. They just haven't given it to the public. So both of these things are happening. But as we move to the future, it's your job to decide which is going to be most important in your life and how is it going to be important in your life. Which are you going to put your priorities on and why are you putting those on? And by no means do you have to choose one or the other, but knowing and understanding what you're connecting with, how you're connecting with, what you're using, why you're using it, and above all else, stay connected to yourself, because that connection to yourself activates that truth, that faith within inside of yourself, that alignment to something higher, as well as your integrity and your responsibility to yourself and those around you. This information is one that is going to serve you time and time again. And in my own personal opinion, based on channeling, based on everything I see, the most important thing that you do in your future is open up your psychic abilities, because the future is absolutely psychic. Whether super intelligence is there or not, whether you tap into those psychic insights and psychic powers, the future is absolutely psychic. It's energetic and it's soul led. And this is giving you an opportunity to tap into what is most aligned for you. This has been such an amazing share for me to share with you. If you have questions regarding this, or if this resonated with you, or if this didn't, if you do not agree with me, I invite you to comment below. Let me know. Be sure to subscribe and like and come back for more. If you want to join me live every single Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I record the Psychic Within podcast live. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you guys next time on the Psychic Within podcast. Bye, guys.